How did you feel about that last fight?
Hey, it was a time, getting the chance to fight in the middle of all this things that's happening right now with the coronavirus was a blessing. And having the chance to fight for a main event for LFA was another blessing. So, honestly, I couldn't ask for a better opportunity to be able to do what I love to do.
Definitely. And, talk about the fight with Kevin Wirth. I mean, being able to compete in the main event, coming out with a win after your very first loss in your career. How was that?
Yeah, I mean, definitely didn't have a good taste in my mouth the last couple months with that last fight. So to be able to, get that taste out of my mouth and have almost end the year off on a good note, I'm happy. I'm back on track where I need to be, and I'm just happy I got to be in there and get that experience.
Definitely. And, fighting and training during the pandemic must have been unique for you. How was that? Obviously you're fighting with no fans in attendance. So did you feel like you had a better understanding with your corner because you're able to hear them more precise, more loud, and talk about that?
Yeah, that's one thing the announcers were talking about. Ron Cook and Pat Meltzer were talking about how well I was listening to the corner. I listen to the corner regardless. I mean, if you come to any of the local shows in Chicago or any show I've been on, you hear Al and my brother Asif always giving me instructions, and you know what I mean, play by play. It's like playing a video game with them. As soon as they say something, I try my best to do what they're asking for. But truthfully, the crowd didn't make a difference to the fight. The fight felt the same. I mean, fighting is fighting at the end of the day. The only thing that felt different was there was no energy in the arena. It felt, you could feel the emptiness. As much as you try to look out to the crowd and scream and yell and want to feel that energy, it's not there. It's not the same without the crowd.
Yeah, definitely. I can understand that as well. But, it'll be a matter of time before we have the fans back in there. But it was great that you're able to get that fight in. Now, talk about the weight cut. It seemed to go well. What's the difference this time around? I know you kind of struggled with that last year in 2019. So how better did you feel in this fight from your previous one?
I mean, maturity, age, experience. That was the recipe for, you know what I mean, me getting better with the weight cuts. I just needed to be a mature adult about the way I ate and the way I trained. You know what I mean? I train hard regardless, but you can't out-train a bad diet. You know what I mean? And that's what I needed to get it together. So once I got my eating, my food together, it took a little bit of time to actually study what I should be eating and review what I put in my body after training sessions and before training sessions. And I felt like this weight cut was one of the easiest ones in my life. I was able to gradually go down to about 145, 143, and then the last few pounds was just water, and it was easy money. Nice and warm in Kansas, so it was easy to cut water weight.
Definitely. And now you've signed with the Iridium Sports Agency. Jason House, he's the manager there. How happy are you to announce the management company, and how much excited you are to work with Jason?
Yeah, hell yeah. Jason House is the man. Him, Jacob, you know what I mean? Jeremy, they're good people. They're hooking me up. They're helping me out. They're trying to find me fights. I'm at the point in my career where I'm 11-1, 12 fights deep into being a pro. So it's going to start getting hard to find fights. I'm hopefully a big show's calling soon. I feel like I proved myself in the last fight. So I know Jason's the man that's going to hook it up. Jason's going to be taking care of me.
And now when you suffered that loss at HFC, to Syed, although it felt horrible at the time, and I know you admitted that it was an emotional fight, you feel like the pressure of staying undefeated was alleviated. Now you can focus on making each performance better as you go along. Like, make an individual detail to each fight rather than, I got to do whatever I can to stay undefeated,
Yeah, that's true. But, man, I never really cared about being undefeated. It was a perk, cool. But my biggest thing was experience, So to be able to experience that fight, and go through it, learning the mistakes I had in my game and things I needed to close and being able to fight without being so emotional is a key thing I needed to learn over time. And I wasn't going to be able to do that just by training, So I needed that experience in that fight. It was a blessing in disguise, I guess, for me to learn. And any fight moving forward, if I ever do lose again, hopefully I won't, and I'm motherfucking hoping I'll stay undefeated after this. But if I do lose again, get that experience and just be better,
Definitely.
Focus on being better after fights is the most important thing to me.
And talk about what you use for recovery after each training session.
My biggest thing is the Normatec boots have been actually key for my last camp. I don't know if you ever heard of those the big puffy boots you put around your legs.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been using those a lot. My brother Asif bought a pair, and they're very nice. So I've been using that. I've been using the complex massage gun a lot. Get my shoulders and my back after hard sparring sessions. Honestly, with with MMA, shoulders get the biggest beating. And especially because we're going from sparring to, you know what I mean, drilling to jiu-jitsu to, you know, takedowns. Shoulders get a beating. So that's the number one thing I've been massaging, and then my legs from all the.
What do you attribute your success to, and who in particular has helped you during your last training?
Honestly, all my teammates at MTC, you know what I mean? All the guys there. My brother's obviously the biggest key components, and then Al's mind. Al has one of the, you know what I mean? He's one of the smartest guys I've met in terms of MMA. He knows how to break it down, how to break down your game, how to break down your opponent's game, how to see weaknesses and you know what I mean, in their game, and how to break it down and how to exploit those weaknesses. You know, and the way he corners, I mean, you hear him, the way he corners, he knows exactly what you should be doing, when you should be doing it, and to keep you safe, not to put you in a compromised position, not to tell you, yo, go for the ground and pound and go for the finish, or do this a certain way, do this. It's you know, smooth, calm, controlled instruction, and you know what I mean. So he's honestly my biggest blessing for this camp, because I felt like every single thing he called out in the fight, I was trying to do, and ever since he told me to fully listen to him, it's been a smooth ride. You know what I mean? For the last
Definitely.
couple months, in terms of training, in terms of nutrition, in terms of the fight, you know, I did it his way. You know what I mean? Not the little kid way.
Definitely. And I know, obviously you've had so many fights, so you're just building upon that as you go.
Yeah.
When can we expect you back in the cage? I know it seems like you weren't too banged up. I mean, there was some facial, damage, but you weren't too banged up. So when are you ready to go again?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I was back to training on Monday. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'm not going to spar for a little bit just to not take that damage. But I was back to training wrestling and jiu-jitsu on Monday. I'm excited about staying in the gym, stay grinding, and hopefully, if we get what I want is I want to get a fight scheduled. You know what I mean? And then if the big show calls, then the big show calls and we jump up. But until then, I want to get another fight scheduled and stay, you know, keep my beak wet and stay fudging agile. You know, keep that experience building up.
Definitely. I know we had the Bellator MMA, and last weekend it was that Euro series. James Gallagher, he was running his mouth. He was calling out the bantamweight division. Says he hears silence, no interest from anybody that's being vocal. So, are you interested if that fight was offered to you? Like, what would your response be?
Nah, I'll pass on that. There's enough guys in line that want to fight that guy. Like, you know what I mean? I don't need
Sure.
none of that. Bellator MMA is Bellator MMA. He's got killers he's got to deal with. You know what I mean? Sergio Pettis down there, fudging, taking it to the top, about to fight for that world title. Honestly, I think he's the next champ down there for sure. You know, Rafael Stout's right behind him. Those guys are in the top 5 in Bellator. I mean, James Gallagher wants to talk about all the stuff about fighting anybody and everybody staying quiet. He can't even fight the guys that are in the top 5. You know what I mean? He's fighting
Right.
some dude from wherever Europe. You know what I mean? That can't even wrestle or grapple. You know, he can do whatever he wants. He's, you know, if I'm in Bellator, then I'll worry about that. But until then, you know, Bellator has never called me or gave me an offer for a contract. So I'm just focused on myself fighting. Hopefully, maybe I can fight for LFA again. That was a good ass time. You know what I mean? We could talk to
Hmm.
them or whatever other shows running in December or November. And, you know, I'll focus on getting that experience. And then when I make it to the big show, I'll try to make the biggest splash possible.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're excited to see you perform again. I know, as far as like regional MMA is concerned, we don't have many options, for the
Yeah.
regional fights. And obviously, I know you're itching to get back at the HFC Bantamweight title. Is that a fight that you'd take a rematch with if it was offered? I heard something that Sayed wanted to fight you again.
I would love that. If there was a rematch offered, I would love to take that fight again. Yes, sir. I mean, me and him are
Mhm.
both managed by Jason House, so now that's a possibility. We'll see what happens.
Definitely. Would you like it at HFC or at a bigger stage, or it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. It does
Yeah.
not matter, honestly. At this point, as long as the fight gets me closer to the big goal, and that's, you know, a big show, you know. So
Yeah.
whatever guy they give me next, I'm just focused on the skills that they got and how to beat them.
I just think that fight won't warrant a rematch, and I'd be excited to see, what
That,
happens to him.
that fight does deserve a rematch. You know what I mean? Honestly, by the end of our careers, we'll probably fight 2 or 3 times. I won't be mad at that. You know.
For sure. And then if you had a message for anybody struggling out there, man, because so many of your fellow fighters, competitors, they can't get out there and perform. They had their fights canceled. Like, what would be your message to them? And again, we appreciate you going out and perform and provide entertainment during this, during these tough times as well.
Hell yeah! I mean, nowadays it's tough to be a fighter, especially because there's uncertain times and it's hard to find fights, like you said, and even guys that are starting out their careers 2-0. Both my brothers, are they're 2-0 pros, and it's been hard to find them fights, you know, and they've just been sitting on the shelf since February, and we're just waiting. But number one thing is perseverance. You know what I mean? Stay on your grind. Stay on your grind. The end of the day, the only way to get good at something is to do it over and over and over. You know what I mean? Just like you in your interviews, the more you do them, the better you get. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
with the fighters, the more you practice, the more you stay in the gym, the better you're gonna get. You know, if you want to be a fighter, a fighter is not a guy that goes in there and wins a fight easy money. You know, knocks him out, it's a game over. A fighter is a guy that goes through a hard time. You know what I mean? A knockdown, a takedown, gets put in the choke, and is able to fight through it. So just like with life, we're going through this hard time with coronavirus and all this stuff where we're not getting what we want in terms of fighting. It's about perseverance, putting your head down, focusing on the work, and focus on getting better every day. And when you have your opportunity, you know what I mean? And everybody will get their opportunity. If you stay consistent enough, you will get your opportunity. And when you have your opportunity, your biggest thing you can do for yourself is bless yourself by making sure you take full throttle with it. You know what I mean? Take it with both hands.
Definitely. Well, Askar, I appreciate you again being on the Fight Report. Anyone you'd like to thank, go ahead. And Midwest Training
My man,
Center, if you
my man.
guys want to train with the best, go ahead and check them out in
Hell yeah.
Schaumberg. It's a huge facility. You guys have really have grown by leaps and bounds.
Thank you, my man. Yeah, thank you for everybody from MTC. Thank you to Coach Al. You know, obviously, top of the bill. Then my brothers, all my teammates, Justin, Nick Aguirre, all those guys. Hopefully, we'll get fights scheduled soon for everybody. You know what I mean? We'll all be on track. You know what I mean? Hopefully, end 2020 on a good note.
Definitely. Well, Oscar, man, we appreciate you being on the show, and congratulations, your big win over Kevin Wirth at LFA 92. Everybody can check it out, UFC Fight Pass, and we can't wait for the next fight. We're hoping it's this year
Yeah,
for you to
but
get
it
back
will,
in that
will be.
cage.
I'll make
Excellent.
sure everything in my power will be this year. My man, thank you.
You too. Anyway, anytime. Take care, brother.